Hey, this is All the Rage with Paige. I'm Paige, and we're back. I think the last time I did an episode was like all the way in May, so if I'm a little shy, you know why. And yes, I have been doing poetry still, so this is something that happens to me every single time I record, is all of my insecurities just like come to the forefront, and it's disappointing because, you know, I've grown so much when it comes to like my self-love and things like that, but it's almost like that reminder of like, okay, there's still some work to do, and that's okay. You know what? Growth, because I'm still going to be doing this, and I'm not going to beat myself up about it. Like, this was the thing that I was nervous about with doing this. I feel like my eyes are darting everywhere. I apologize. The thing that I was most nervous about with starting up the podcast again was these feelings. And I knew that they were going to happen. And, you know, I was hopeful that it would be lesser than it was, you know, however many months ago. But I did know that they were going to come up for me because, like, as much work as you do, like, you know, feelings are feelings, thoughts are thoughts, and they're just going to come up. So we're actually going to do the topic that I didn't end up releasing. I can't even really remember why I stopped the podcast, but I was just kind of feeling blocked creatively. I was being too harsh on myself about like how long it was taking me to edit them, when I would get frustrated trying to upload it. So it's like these little moments in the process added together that I was just like, I don't know if I mentally am like here for that right now. So yeah, I kind of just wanted a break, and then I felt like the longer the break was taking, the harder it was to get back into it. And I would just keep being like, oh, you know, there's no rush. I can do it next week. And yeah, I feel like that's why a lot of projects that I start don't end up, quote unquote, being completed, because I think I just like having it be there. Like, oh yeah, I can get back to that and start this new thing. The start of things is so exciting and so fun. And I think I just like that feeling so much that when it starts to get boring or hard or whatever, I'm just like, we can take a little break, which is fine. And I'm glad that I do, for the most part, usually end up going back to things. But I think I need to prioritize, organize, plan a little bit better. And also, oh my gosh, that just reminded me that my year goal was consistency. And I feel like after I dropped the podcast, I kind of dropped that consistency a bit. So I feel like the podcast really does help me in so many ways. And that's why I'm really excited to get back into it, especially like this time of year, gearing up for 2024. Is I do really want to end the year in a good place with consistency. Yeah, I kind of just wanted to come back and show up for myself and follow through more when it comes to the podcast, because, you know, throughout the year, I keep doing exercises and checking in with myself and things like that. And I always come back to the podcast being like one of the main priorities that I seem to have. So it's definitely something that I want to keep exploring. And yeah, just see where it goes. So the topic that I had left off on and never posted, or I don't even think I recorded it, was style. So we're going to be talking about style today. And although my biggest goal of the year was consistency, I feel like style is actually like the main theme for me this year. I feel like my style has really developed. I'm actually curious to see the difference in, like, you know, just like my vibe of this video and the videos to come versus the ones that I had done in the beginning. And yeah, it just seems to be the thing that's really helped me in a lot of ways. Like, I'm feeling so much more myself. I'm feeling a lot more confident. I'm feeling self-love with like a lot of the things that I do when it comes to style. And it just makes me feel like I'm taking better care of myself. It makes me feel like I'm expressing myself as an individual. Did I even say that word? It makes me feel more like an individual, which, you know, as a relatively new mom, like that is something that can kind of get lost. And I even feel like just my age right now, I'm actually going to be turning 30 in 2 weeks, I think. And yeah, I think it's just like that time where you kind of ask yourself again, like, who am I? And it's just, a fun way to explore that. I was curious to look up the definition for style because I don't think I've ever, had to actually look it up before. But the definition was a technique by which something is done, created, or performed. And I found that actually kind of interesting because, like, my perception right now of style is that it is such a great way to express how you feel internally. And it's like a great way for self-love. And I do feel like when I express my style and when I explore it, like, it's usually in times where my life is, about to be going better or is going better. And so I kind of felt like there was like a correlation between that. And so I was like, oh, maybe there's something to that. But I was also trying to think of other people's perspectives. And I'm like, well, I can see why it wouldn't be that important of a thing. And I feel like there's a lot of other ways that you can express yourself. And then I was also thinking about like people who are very unique, but also could be really struggling in their life or not actually know who they are and things like that. So I feel like it could go any which way. But I thought it was interesting that in the definition, it put performed, that word specifically, because I think some people could perceive style as just a performance, like a way that you show off or want to be perceived a certain way, even if it's not actually who you are. And I think that is definitely a possibility, especially if it comes to like following trends and not actually putting yourself into your look, your style. Or if you're doing it for like status reasons, things like that. But yeah, having it be something that's done, created, performed, it just goes to show that it is like an art form. And I find that to be interesting just because like we kind of all have to have some sort of style, even if we're not conscious of it, because we have to decide things to wear. We have to decide how we dress up our homes and things like that. But yeah, to think of it as like as a creation, even though we have to do it, I don't know. It does actually still make me think it does express how you're feeling internally, because we don't really have a choice in it, but it is a performance. It is something that we have to create. So I feel like, even if it's something you're not conscious of, ding, ding, maybe you ain't conscious in your internal world. And that's why you're not really thinking twice about what you're going to put on that day, because you're not thinking twice about yourself. Oh my God. Dang. And what I also wrote down is like style is what you think it is, which going along with like how it kind of expresses how you are doing internally is, I feel like, our sense of reality, our perception of ourselves and other people really just has to do with our thoughts. So same with style. I think whatever you think style is, like that's just simply how you're going to perceive it. So if you see it as a way to express yourself, that's what it is. And that's how you're going to perceive it in other people. And since it is something we don't really get to choose to do, like why not have a good perception of it? Why not have a like productive way to look at it? Like if I'm going to dress myself, like why not put some more thought into it? Why not do it in a way that I might feel more comfortable and more confident? If I'm going to be living in a house, why don't I make it nice and make it feel good to be inside? Same with that body. And like anything else, what we put into it is what we're going to get out of it. So if you're putting more effort into your style, you're going to be getting more out of it. Not only more compliments, but you're going to be looking in the mirror and going, dang, girl, you did it again. I don't know if anyone really cares about this, but I just wanted to kind of talk about like my style journey because maybe it'll bring up some stuff for your own, I don't know. We'll see. Or just skip like a few minutes and I'm sure it'll be fine. I feel like this is pretty common in the Pacific Northwest, but I grew up with thrifted clothes, hand-me-downs, that sort of stuff. And I really think that that's just the way to go, to be honest. Like, I just feel like it just has more character. It's easier to have a relationship with clothes where it's not so much about consumerism, but it's more just kind of like about finding what's comfortable, finding out what looks good without having to worry too much about ruining it. Which, like, not only are you growing really fast, but you're going outside, getting dirty, hopefully. And, you know, you're not going to have your mom being like, I just bought that at Target for $20. I don't know anyone that sounds like that, but sorry. And then as a kid, like a young kid, when I got to go to the store and like pick out my own clothes, it was always Old Navy at the time. I feel like that was probably, common for a lot of millennials, but I decided to wear, boy clothes. I wanted to wear basketball shorts and sweatshirts. Usually the sweatshirts were like middle school sweatshirts because when you're in elementary school, that's cool. And then basketball shorts because like not only are you growing and trying to hide your, puberty, but I wanted to dress like the boys. I think I always like wanted to be one of the boys. And so I thought like if I dress like them, they might think I'm cool and let me hang out. But also, my friends would do it with me. I felt like I was a trendsetter. Doing something different, that's when people follow you. So my friends would, do that too. And I don't know, it was a vibe. Preteens, it kind of escalated. Not only was I wearing, the boy clothes, but I was wearing more like skater, rocker, punk, emo type stuff, which, that was definitely on trend with MySpace. I would tease my hair specifically for MySpace pictures, but otherwise, no. And I would put colored streaks in my hair. That was definitely a thing that not a lot of my peers were able to do. So it was definitely something that I think I did because of that. And I want to say that like not only were like boys my influence when it came to style, but also movies of the time. Like I'm pretty sure Lindsay Lohan in Freaky Friday was like a very big influence on my style at around that age. Like that sort of influence was definitely big, which I don't feel like is as big anymore. I feel like nowadays it's probably more so social media. But yeah, I guess things haven't changed too much because a lot of trends at that time were from MySpace and nowadays it's TikTok. So I feel like that's pretty similar now to what it was back then. And then as a teenager, that is when brand names were everything. I really hope that one doesn't come back around. Like the 7 Jeans, True Religion, Rockin' Republic, that stuff. Oh, and Ed Hardy. Oh my God. Luckily, I did not fall trap to Ed Hardy, but I did fall trap to the name brand jeans, and I couldn't afford them at the time, so we would steal them at the mall. But I also started thrifting again at that time with my oldest sister, and that was not something a lot of people around my age knew about at the time. Thrifting, like that was not a thing that my peers were doing, so I felt like I had a leg up in that way of like, God. Sorry. I just had a freaking flashback of thrifting at that time, and it was prime. It was prime. Nobody was doing it. That was before even Macklemore did his song. And I know that thrifting is very big in Seattle for a very long time, but like, yeah, people weren't doing it as much. So there was just so much more stuff. At that point, I was trying to actually find stuff that like flattered my body, like not only just looking at a piece and being like that looks cool, I'm gonna wear that, but actually like trying to figure out like, well, this fabric looks good, this cut looks good, things like that. I think at that point is when I was finally trying to do those things, but I would still fall trap to like what other girls were wearing, and then you just end up being uncomfortable because at the time it was low-rise jeans, and oh my goodness, never again. Never again. But I would also sacrifice comfort to wear like, short skirts, short dresses, heels, and things like that, which, no thank you. I will not be doing that. I will absolutely not be doing any of those things ever again. I felt cute dressing like that, but it of course gave, me the kind of attention did not want. We just wanted the cute pictures. And then in my early 20s, that's, when you're trying to have a career. When trying to make a name for yourself, you're just trying to get through. You're finally having to buy all your clothes on your own. And yeah, it was a struggle. I felt like I had to sacrifice my style a bit at that time because the only places I could afford to shop were thrift stores and like Ross. And also trying to have a specific, trying to figure out clothes to wear for a career just was not fun for me. So I just feel like my style kind of plummeted at that time. It wasn't the best. But then I started running and I kind of expressed myself in that way a little bit. And then there came motherhood. Motherhood came pretty quickly after that. I became a mom at 25. And I think at that point, my style plummeted even further because trying to dress pregnant is horrifying. I was about to say don't recommend it, but that, I don't know if I could say that. It's just hard. It's hard. So I don't want to go into all that stuff. But then postpartum as well, your body is completely different. All of your clothes don't look recognizable on you anymore. And you don't even know who you are. Postpartum is hard. So I decided I wasn't even going to wear makeup anymore. And I wasn't trying to look myself. I was, just focused on who am I as a mom and what does that even mean? And it was just confusing for me. And after having my second kid, and I think it took a year and a half, and all of a sudden I just wanted to put on makeup and I started thrifting again. And I started getting excited about that. I started cutting my hair. That was another thing. And it just kept kind of going and growing. And I just kind of realized my confidence was coming back. And not only that, it was better than it had ever been before. And I started enjoying taking pictures of myself again, which is something I've always really enjoyed doing. It's always been pretty much a hobby for myself. And, it made me feel silly, but at the same time, I was I really like myself again. And I think I might actually love myself. I'm looking in the mirror and I like what I see. I'm losing weight without trying just because I'm having good thoughts about myself. And I'm dancing again. I'm singing again. It just seemed to really change things around for me. And so it's something I've kind of become passionate about. And I feel like I haven't felt this way in a long time. So I think that's the purpose of this video, is to just, have this in the books of my little online diary and hopefully to inspire at least one person to explore that about themselves. Something I was kind of surprised by is that I realized that really my style hasn't changed too much. A lot of the things that I really like now are things that I've always really liked. It's just almost more defined at this point, and I feel more sure of it. I think because of my growth and my age and all of that, I'm able to be more decisive about those things, because I think growing up, I was envious of my older friends or my oldest sister because they just seemed more sure of the choices. I think when I was younger, I was more worried about I think this is cute, I think this is cool, but will other people? And now I just kind of understand that not only does it not matter, but as long as I think it's cool and as long as I'm rocking it, other people that are cool are gonna think it's cool. I also started kind of exploring with things that I kind of came to realize I secretly wanted to look into. I think I even mentioned in a past podcast that I didn't understand the obsession with shoes. And I think it was because there was a part of me that was kind of sad that I no longer have any interest in heels. That used to be something that I liked to buy, and now I just have no interest in it. But now I'm starting to buy I feel embarrassed to even say it, but I'm starting to buy sneakers, and I never in a million years, well, not in a million years, I just never would have expected it. And I think it's because like I would make fun of it. And I think the reason I would make fun of it is because I thought it was cool. And a part of me thought it would be fun. And I don't think I'm going to like go crazy with it. I only have like 3 pairs that like I bought on eBay. But yeah. What's my point? My point is, you know, if there is something that you kind of like make fun of, or I don't know, just thinking about the things that you might judge and reconsidering like, hey, maybe there's a part of me that secretly like wants to look into that for myself. Even with makeup, I think I used to be kind of harsh about things with makeup. And now that I've let myself kind of explore that with no judgment, I've come to find out that I really enjoy makeup. And I used to be somebody that would like do my hair every day, and I don't think that that's for me. Like, I think I might do things with my hair sometimes. I like doing like 2 buns on my head because that's super easy, things like that. But like, it's okay to have things change, even when it comes to like opinions and perceptions. If anything, that just shows that you're maturing and growing as a person. So yeah, just saying that it's okay to change your mind. I actually really like that saying. That's something that one of me and my close friends say to each other all the time, that like, it's okay to change your mind later. Like, it's all right. People are probably going to roll their eyes when it comes to this, because I feel like I take more selfies. I mean, definitely more than like anyone I know, but I think more than the average, like absolutely. Which I don't know. I don't like, it's kind of embarrassing, but I also don't really have that much shame about it because I just enjoy it. And I don't know, I think more people should do it, to be honest. But I think it's really helped me because like I can look back and just see like how my style has developed. I can look back and be like, you were a bad bitch. You still are a bad bitch. I like looking back on the outfits that I've made and realizing like I only have 1 rack of clothes. And I'm able to make all these different outfits out of it. Like, these are outfits I don't even remember at this point. And yeah, it just kind of makes me appreciate like not only my style development, but like that I've been able to come up with a system that I feel really happy and proud about. Like, I've come up with clothes that I feel good, look good in. I don't know, there's a lot more to it than just the pictures. Like, there's so much more stuff behind it. Taking the time to like feel gratitude about, you know, me cleaning out my closet, like getting rid of a bunch of stuff that, you know, just like aren't me anymore. Adding pieces that I handpicked at the thrift store and coming up with a collection of clothes. Like, I color code them and everything. Like, just really appreciating everything around style. Like, style, there's so much more to it. Like, not only the self-love, but like, yeah, me taking my mom breaks every week to go to the thrift store. I don't know, am I even making sense? I feel like these lights are hypnotizing me a little bit. And thrifting, it's something I would definitely advise if you're trying to figure out what your style is, because I feel like when we go to like, you know, the big box stores, it's garbage. First off, I mean, this shirt's from Target, so I don't know, I can't be talking too much, but it's harder to figure out what you like if you're just kind of being like fed what to get, being swayed. But if you're going to the thrift store, I mean, it's just a jumble shuffle. It's a jumbly shuffly. What am I saying? But if you're going to the thrift store, like, there's so much variety. You're going to have to pick through stuff. And I have a bunch of tips when it comes to thrift shopping, but like how I started to narrow it down for myself was like not only taking the time to think about like what things in the past did I feel good in, what things do I just like aesthetically enjoy right now, and then I started thinking about colors. I started going through my closet of the things that I had and realizing like what colors seemed to be the most flattering for me. And then the next step I took was thinking about those past influences on my style, like the Freaky Friday thing. So I looked up pictures from that role, which, you know, brought up things that I would love to wear now. And then it made me think of like other shows that I aesthetically like always just really gravitated towards. And the first thing I thought of was Seinfeld. And so I just started watching Seinfeld every night, like in the background. And it seriously inspired me so much with like what I wanted to specifically look for at the thrift store. So I kind of started manifesting it and thinking about it. I made a mood board on Canva. And I really think that just taking that time to really reflect, imagine in my mind like what things I would like, and then going to the thrift store, narrowed down the search, but then also just kind of narrowed down like what things do I really like, and what is me, what makes me feel the best. You just kind of live and breathe the vibe, and apparently for me it was Jerry Seinfeld. We're going to go over the polls real quick because I completely forgot about them, but you guys answered, so I really want to let's do it. I asked, how do you view style? And the winning answer was an expression of how one feels internally. So you guys seem to be on the same page of how I'm kind of perceiving style right now, which is fabulous. And then I asked, do you know and like your style? And the top answer was wanting to figure it out and express it confidently. I am curious if it's like an either or an and situation here, but I'm just going to guess that the main part is like expressing it confidently, because I feel like if anything, that's like the biggest piece of it. So my suggestion would definitely be doing that reflection and working on your self-love. And my biggest tip with self-love is just coming up with a list of things that you could do in like 5 to 10 minutes that would make you feel good. Like even just drinking a cup of coffee, writing a couple pages in a journal. I like to do tarot cards. What other things do I do? Some sort of like spa moment. So like a face mask, just like something really quick that you can do so that you can have like checkpoints throughout the day. And yeah, even doing 1 to, I don't know, you could do 5 in a day really easily if it's something really quick and accessible. Dancing for a couple minutes, like it doesn't have to be anything crazy, but doing those things multiple times throughout your day, obviously life-changing. I don't know if I have to explain it further, but yeah, do that. I asked, how do you guys feel about people dressing younger? And the top answer was they're confident and inspire me. I'm glad that was the answer, like, because I don't know. I feel like at this point, like we really should not be judging people for things like style. I asked, how do you guys feel about like trends and opinions when it comes to style? And the winning answer was trying to be conscious of the influence, but enjoying it. I think I do kind of repel and rebel when it comes to like trends. I do have like a desire to be different, but I do like get inspired by seeing how other people dress. I think for me, it's like I'm more influenced by people that I actually know, or at least feel more accessible and real to me versus like companies or, like a celebrity or something like that. So I don't know. That's how I feel about it. And then I also asked how you guys would describe your style journey. A few people messaged me and said it's more of like it changes and evolves as you get older, which I would say probably most people feel that way, which I guess is why I didn't put it on there. I should have put that instead of being stuck in style that's not me. I thought somebody was going to say that, but nobody did, which is amazing. But I just kind of, I guess, assumed that a lot of people like stuck with dressing a certain way and then just didn't know how to get out of that. But I guess I'm wrong, which is good. I don't know why I thought that, maybe just because of like that the shows that we grew up with, like what not to wear. But the top answer was that you feel more yourself now than ever, which is, I'm going to cry. It's amazing. But yeah, I guess that's it. We did it. I hope some part of it was enjoyable, and hopefully I feel more comfortable doing this the more I do it. And I will see you guys next week. All right. Bye.